If you like your Audis on the sporty side, don't look for the A's, the S's are where it's at. That mantra goes for Audi's flagship sedan, the A8. Since the mid-90s, it's been Audi's answer to the BMW 7 Series and the Mercedes S-Class. The S version has been there since the beginning. Now it even packs 109 kilowatts more than its already powerful cousin. Oliver Strohbach says the A8 is already Audi's premier product, and the S8 is the sportiest model in the series. That makes the S8 a very special car. This is not a runabout for around town. The optics of the S8 have the character of a competitive racer, and it's got the hardware to match. The brake discs are ceramic, saving 3 kilos of weight per wheel. The S8 is 10 millimeters closer to the asphalt than the A8. Load-adaptive shock absorbers are a standard feature, and of course there's Audi's distinctive lights. Oliver Strohbach says there's another important change in the S8. The V10 engine has been swapped for a V8 twin-turbo. That means more performance for less fuel consumption. The newly developed 4-litre TFSI motor delivers a very healthy 382 kilowatts, and it uses just 10.2 litres of fuel over 100 kilometres. That's 3 litres less than its predecessor. Robert Muller says Audi realised the twin-turbo was the best option. The motor is very compact and very light, which has a positive effect on the driving dynamics. Beside the turbo, there's also an intercooler and exhaust module. But he says a major factor in reducing consumption was taking the 10-cylinder motor down to an 8. An absolute highlight is the cylinder deactivation.
Und natürlich als absolutes Highlight die Zylinderabschaltung, die Sie hier und hier und hier sehen.
Audi calls the system cylinder on demand. If all 8 cylinders aren't needed to maintain power, when at cruising speed for example, 4 are switched off. The system works with a mechanism that closes the intake and outtake valves on 2 cylinders on each side, here marked in green. The pistons continue to pump, but there's no fuel coming through to the chambers. A grey bar indicates 8 cylinders in use. Green means only 4 are active. For the driver, the change is barely perceptible. Clever technology compensates for the difference. Phase-reversed vibration and sound dampens any unpleasant rumbles from the motor in 4-cylinder mode. Economy is all very well and good, but with a V8 under the hood, you'll want to use it. Here on the Circuito de Navarra in northern Spain, we're pushing the S8 to its limits. The sedan hits 100 km/h after just 4.2 seconds. That's knocking at the door of the Porsche Panamera Turbo. Unfortunately for us, Audi caps the car's top speed at 250. A sports differential is standard and transfers power smoothly to the rear wheels. Audi's Martin Weisbrot says the Quattro Sport is a rear-wheel drive. When cornering, torque vectoring boosts power on the outside wheels, practically flinging the car into the curve. Martin accelerates up to almost 200 kilometers an hour on the long straight. The S8 has an 8-stage Tiptronic automatic transmission with extremely dynamic gear changes. Inside, the sedan makes no compromises on comfort. Luxury surrounds the driver and passengers, and space is plentiful.
Oliver Storbach says Audi is targeting successful business people who enjoy sports car motoring and have a sense of aesthetics. The main markets are the USA and Europe. The
Audi S8 hits showrooms in early summer. There's been some big talk about the tiny VW Up. Now, after months of waiting, it's time to see if Volkswagen's smallest model lives up to the hype. We've set up a three-way battle of the city cars: the VW Up versus the Ford Ka and the Peugeot 107.
Our test driver, Dean Malai, says the VW Up is a bargain at €10,000, but they really took out their red pencils in Wolfsburg and made some serious cuts, especially in the interior. A lot of Volkswagen's standard features are gone. The moulded seats, for example, have no adjustable headrest. The steering wheel can be adjusted up and down, but that's it, even though we're sitting in the Up White Special Edition. The basic model has no glove compartment, no radio, and forget about electric windows. No wonder the stripped-down car is referred to as the nudie at Volkswagen. The White Special Edition has a Spartan yet sleek interior. The high-gloss finish and the navigation system, maps and more really make an impact. The car's boxy form does have advantages when it comes to space. The cockpit is roomy and the back is large enough for adults. But the trunk is where the Up really excels. The VW beats the competition by around 20 litres, and it gets 951 litres with the rear seats down. Volkswagen have tailored the Up to be a pleasant driving experience. The steering is direct, the brakes powerful, and the 1-litre motor responsive. The 3-cylinder engine delivers 55 kilowatts and hits a respectable high speed of 171 kilometers an hour. But the higher comfort and quality finish comes at a cost. In Germany, the White Special Edition will set you back €14,300. But the Volkswagen isn't alone in that price range. The Ford Ka isn't cheap either, especially our test vehicle, the Titanium Edition with ESP and 16-inch wheels. It sells for €13,210, only slightly less than the Up. But for the money, you get a very attractive cockpit. The high-mounted gear stick adds to the car's overall sporty character. The Ford is also very agile on the road. The 1.2-litre engine produces 51 kilowatts and a top speed of 159 kilometers an hour. Our test driver, Dean Malai, says the car is the only 4-cylinder in our comparison, but more cylinders don't always mean more performance. The Up has more horsepower than the Ka, but the Ford is definitely more fun to drive. The car is responsive and really corners well, and the transmission is light and direct. But anyone coming along for the ride should be warned. He says, make sure you get a seat up front, not because it's comfortable there, but because it's especially uncomfortable in the back.
And he says you need a shoehorn to get in, and then you're left with virtually no room at all. It seems Ford is really pushing the concept of compact.
Dann merkt man, dass der Ford sich den Namen Kleinstwagen redlich verdient hat.
Ironically, the Ford car is actually largest in our comparison. It's 20 centimetres longer than the Peugeot and 8 centimetres longer than the VW. And the car's trunk also leaves us wanting. It has 224 litres rear seats up and 710 litres rear seats down, falling far short of the VW Up. The Peugeot 107, one French model that's starting to show her age. The exterior and interior design look dated. The cockpit is no frills and clunky. But for €10,640, the Filou line includes extras like air conditioning, a radio, even a more attractive paint job. Dean says the Peugeot is the least expensive car tested, but it offers the most features and the most space, especially in the back. In this car, he can drive for half an hour on the freeway without having to see a chiropractor the next day. He says there's a fine line between budget and cheap. You can see that in the heating and airflow controls. It looks like a cheap kettle in a discount store. He says it's not only can be better, it should be better, even for a car in this price class. And there's also scope for improvement in the back. 130 litres is very meagre storage, although dropping the seats down does help. But the Peugeot does win points on the road. The 1-litre 3-cylinder motor produces plenty of zip, and it's the quickest of the bunch from 0 to 50. Though it squeals at high speeds, there's more than enough power for the city. The Filou delivers 50 kilowatts and tops out at 157 kilometers an hour. But the age of the Peugeot 107 is noticeable, and that leaves it behind the competition. In the fast-paced world of motoring, it almost seems like a relic from another time. Volkswagen shunned the city car segment for many years. Now they've managed to produce the best model on the market. The comfort, quality and safety of the VW Up set a new benchmark for its class. The big downside is the price, €14,300 for all the trimmings. For comparison, the VW Polo starts at €12,450 and radios and glove compartments are standard. Mercedes is now adopting hybrid technology for its E-Class. 2 models will get an additional electric motor. The E300 BlueTech hybrid, based on a 4-cylinder diesel, is destined for the European market. The E400 hybrid, based on a V6 gasoline engine, will start in the North American market and then be available in Japan and China. Peugeot is putting the Ion up for sale. Until now, the electric car was only available in Germany per leasing agreement. The Ion delivers 49 kilowatts and a top speed of 130 kilometers an hour. It has a range of 150 kilometers and the battery charges in 9 hours. As well as boasting 6 airbags, lightweight rims and air conditioning come standard. In Germany, the price tag is €29,393. Beautiful, more beautiful, DS4. With its DS series, Citroen gives a nod to the iconic DS models of the 1950s. Elegant and seductive on the outside, plush on the inside. The DS4 has already been showered with design awards. Our tester says it looks wonderful, like a 3-door model, but that's its secret. It's not. It's a 5-door, a real sedan. But this is a compromise. The coupe shape means it has a very small rear door. The narrow opening, sloping roofline make it almost cave-like in the back. Jörg says it's not meant for long distances, so he's going to move up front. From the driver's seat, our tester plans to give the DS4 a real workout and see if the French model is more than just a pretty face. The DS4's driving performance is impressive. After the briefest of delays, the sedan coupe speeds along in every gear. Acceleration is quick and the 6-speed gearbox shifts well. The 1.6-litre engine produces 147 kilowatts of power and 275 newton-meters of torque. It can sprint from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 8.5 seconds. Citroen claims it has a top speed of 235 kilometers an hour, but we were struggling to get above 230, even going downhill. Still, the top version can compete with VW's Golf GTI. It's available in Germany for just over €28,500. The DS4 has all the bells and whistles. Our test car came with 18-inch wheels, automatic climate control, blind spot monitoring, heated door mirrors and a leather steering wheel. Even massaging front seats come as standard.
Jörg says what looks like breathing is actually the massage function, something unheard of in the compact car class, but he says this car comes chock full of extras. Our tester says the DS4 is perfect for people who like to fool around with controls. You can turn the dashboard lighting on and off and set it for different colours with one button. Then there's a second one that changes the colour of the outer instruments. It's crazy. And the fun doesn't stop there. Jörg says the Citroen is made for people who change the ringtone on their cell phones every day. Only here they can set the sound of the warning signal. There's Crystal Symphony, Urban Rhythmic, or Jungle Fantasy. A sound that really drove Jörg crazy. He couldn't stand having the blinkers drumming like a Bush telegraph. Our tester says the panorama windshield with the movable sunshades is also pretty bizarre and reminds him of a cap worn the wrong way around. It's all a matter of taste. With so many extras, it takes time for car and driver to get used to one another. Consulting the owner's manual helps too. Our tester says this new Citroen is really complicated and you're lost without this thick manual. While the settings are complicated, it's a good car. He says it's already won the beauty contest, but the performance? À la bonne heure. The engine is tops, the suspension stiff but not too hard. It might not be so practical for daily use, but Jörg can live with that, though not on long trips with 4 people. Overall, it's a winning vehicle that he recommends.
Gelungenes Auto, kann man empfehlen.
So the Citroen DS4 isn't just nice to look at, it's also fun to drive.